Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton. I just finished watching episode 4 of Hawkeye. So this episode not only happens to bring us into the second half of the series pretty well, but it also happens to introduce us to a character who you might remember from Black Widow, and it also happens to give us some more comedy, but also a bigger insight into Hawkeye as a person. Let's get to the story, shall we? After the confrontation with the swordsman last week, he mostly just decides to have Hawkeye and Kate there for a talk with Kate's mother. He happens to hide his villainous side pretty well from her, as he basically just sends Hawkeye and Kate off and tells them to stop investigating. But that's not going to stop them at all. So, Hawkeye and Kate continue to investigate how Jack could be involved with the tracksuits and all this stuff. And Kate also helps Clint help set things up for Christmas. All while they're watching It's a Wonderful Life, tossing coins, and as Hawkeye gets to go into detail about him losing his family in the blip and Black Widow's sacrifice. After that, they find out the Rolex watch is in Maya's apartment. They head to the apartment, they fight Maya, and turns out another person gets involved, who is Yelena from Black Widow. Yeah, ever since the end credit scene of Black Widow, I figured that she'd get involved in the series at some point, and the fourth episode is as good of a time as any. As I previously said in my Black Widow review back in July, I like Yelena. I think she's a really fun character. I think she does a good job making fun of various aspects of Natasha, as well as putting in her own great lines and great action scenes. And Florence Pugh just does a really good job in the role. So even though she doesn't really talk in this episode, it was great seeing her fight Kate and Hawkeye. This also puts a lot of strain on Hawkeye and Kate as partners, because, according to Hawkeye, they're not partners. She's just a kid that he feels like he has to help out before he's able to celebrate Christmas with his family. And that's it. And he makes that very clear when he actually tells her to go after he rescues her from Yelena. Yeah, he does give her an out, but she chooses to come back. That's important to keep track of. I think it's more Hawkeye just doesn't want to see anyone close to him get killed again, especially since he lost his family once and got them back in a, never possible in real life scenario. So he really just doesn't want to have another person close to him, be lost again, especially since throughout these episodes he's grown to really like Kate, and Kate's really grown to like him. So I understand what he's trying to say, but I also understand Kate trying her best to help. And she did do a lot of that with those trick arrows. There's like these gel arrows that can cover cameras and strobe lights. And there's even this big flashbang arrow that gets used at one point that I think could have helped out Hawkeye quite a few times if he had them in the films. On top of that, I really do like how it's not really certain who's the big bad that Maya's working for. If they're going by the comics, they could theoretically give us Kingpin again, but if they give us the Kingpin from the Daredevil series, that's probably going to be the biggest way they could actually combine the Netflix Marvel series with the Disney Plus Marvel series. Not saying they're going to do it, but they are in New York, it is during Christmas time, and Hell's Kitchen isn't too far off, so it's possible. Besides, who wouldn't want to see Vincent D'Onofrio back in the role? But yeah, I really liked this episode. I'm probably going to give it an 8 out of 10, and I can't wait to see what happens to the last 2 episodes. See you next time.